Hi, I'm Demi,
And I'm Andrea.
and we have Allie Hoffman with us today.
Hi,
So
guys.
excited.
We were so excited to have you on. It's last minute, and you are literally like a warrior. You are going to the airport after this.
Bags packed.
You've been living a dual life.
A bit, yeah.
You've been making banana bread.
I have. My timeline is interesting in that I just hit like deep early 40s. I just turned 42. And I've been single like pretty consistently from like late 20s onward, which means I skipped the part where I learned how to cook for a family and I did domestic things like bake. And
I skipped that part too, and I was married.
We just ended our episode on being domestically challenged the previous, so this is a great way to open up.
we could just throw that one to like, it's okay, we're millennials. It's not our fault. But yeah, so there's just I've been like New York City girl working. I've been working, and so I have unwell parents right now, and have felt really called to come back home. But it's got me doing things I've literally never done in my adult life, and I'm not exaggerating. I had never baked anything. And the first time I baked was like a couple. Demi knows I was in her chair like a couple months ago. And yeah, I've gotten to continue. I care for an animal when I'm home. Like
Who am
I do
I?
all these things that normal people do, but like there's something about
Normal
just
people.
single in New York City. You can really, really, truly believe you're the center of the universe, which has its pluses and its big.
You've taken on the main character energy, but it's gotten you to do something really amazing, which is why we have you on today. And you're going to talk about the feels.
Yeah. I at a certain point around, I think it was 38, I had this moment of like, all of the ways that I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to have a person and we were going to have little beings and we were going to live in a multi-story pre-war brownstone on a tree-lined street in Brooklyn. Like it was all going to be the way I was sure it was going to be. And at 38, I was like, oh shit, no, it's not, because it's not here. It's very different than that. And so I got really curious about what it meant to grapple in a healthy way with it all. Because at the time it just hurt. Like, oh, this hurts. And so I also, though, enrolled myself up at Columbia in this spiritual psychology program, not different than the one that Andrea's done. And while there, I was getting to be deep in the work of Carl Jung and Joseph Campbell. I got to study somatic intelligence. I got to study group relations theory, and I turned that plus a healthy dose of longing,
Which is always a good recipe.
always a good motivator, into this singles event. And at first I just wanted to bring single people together, like a little bit low key to meet my boo, but like also because I just wanted to be
Love
around.
the honesty.
Like it was about me. But it worked. I think that, it hit this cultural moment in that it was 2022. So we were out of COVID, but not fully. Like we're still scared, but we were like so depleted with being at home. And apps, dating apps had this huge surge during COVID, right? It was our only way to meet and connect for many of us. And so I think people were kind of starting to come off the mountain of like, wait, this was awful. Like this is a terrible, terrible way to have to relate and meet. And so that year, like the year that we started, there was a 400% increase in attendance at live singles events because people were just so hungry for something else. And then it was novelty because I'd been in this spiritual psychology program. I knew like, it's not just show up at the bar and get drunk. It's answer thoughtful questions, positively reflect each other, hold eye contact, hug. Like I knew that there was something that we needed that we weren't getting, and that if I facilitated people, they would do it. Like we're obedient creatures, So I just like got really bold and was like, and got a lot of joy out of guiding people in and out of being hugged. And so then what started in New York took off. We got a New York Times piece early on in the style section. And, it wasn't even, the piece was great. But it like after that, like it really changed things. And to this day, people are like, I found out about it through the New York Times. I'm like, okay. But yeah, like there's been a lot of people, the people that are called to it because the modern dating ecosystem that exists right now sucks. And I'm really interested in better ways.
I love that so much.
Thanks.
I think part of what's so attractive about it is that people are always looking to seek out what they're trying to order a partner like a pizza. And now you can go online and you can do that. They have to be this tall. They have to live in this neighborhood, in this tax bracket.
Yep.
And then they're wondering why it's not working.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a lot that dating apps have done that's distorted our expectations and understanding of what relating should be and could be. You know, it used to be that we met through some combination of immediate family, extended family, work, school, and then temple, mosque, church. And so we had synaptic tissue connecting us. We had reasons to treat each other. If you introduce Andrea to your friend and then Andrea mistreats that person, like you're going to find out about it. And then Andrea has an incentive not to do that. Right. And we've lost all of that. And so that's where I think a lot of the ghosting comes in. And then
no one's being held accountable. There's no one knows.
And also we're so tech dependent right now. We're not having uncomfortable conversations. We see this nationally, like with what's happening politically, like we're not really able to talk to each other anymore. We're just, it's just not good for anybody. And then the apps and the way that they're set up and how addicting they're built to be, they have us believing, well, where there's one who won't, there's 100 who will, right? Where there's one who's not this tax bracket, I'm gonna go get him. I'm gonna go find him. I just have to keep going. And they are literally designed to addict us. They're not designed to help us meet our person and be in healthy relationships. They're designed to keep us on the app because as long as we're on the app, we're paying more. As long as we're paying more, they make more money. And yeah, it's really set everybody up to feel commoditized, to feel depleted, to feel unseen. And that's why I think if anything I do resonates, it's because it's like we all want to feel seen and heard.
Of course.
And we need to find ways back from what we're in.
What skills do you think, like when I think about online dating, what skills do you think are missing, or like what do we not get to develop if we're just constantly, as in person, you have to exercise certain things?
So I listened to the first episode. I have a really like take on being as honest as you can be, as early as you can be. And I think apps can insulate us from that. And honesty doesn't have to be like, I wanted to hang out one more time because I wasn't sure about you and I wanted to see again. You know,
The sweet truth, I like to call it.
I think it can sound something like, hey, I want to be really real. I'm navigating some unsuredness, or there's confusion in me. And I'm called to this connection and I'd like to spend more time. But also I want to be honest about the confusion. You know, like I'm really interested in what better, more honest, like deeper, candid conversations that have the space for somebody else to be like, hey, you know what? I really appreciate how you showed up there. Like, yeah, cool. Let's just be present with each other and go out to dinner. Or like, I can't believe you told me that. Like, and then you have information that you can parse and be like, okay, that felt good. That didn't feel good. Like, I'm going to go towards that. So I think apps insulate us from all of that. I think that, you know, it's so easy just to be like bantery, quick hits, like emoji laden, like, and I also don't think that they set people up for success. Like, I think a lot of men have been downloaded this, like, get a girl off the app, get her into a bar as quickly as possible, get an IRL as quick as possible. And I actually think that there's value in going from an app to a video call and giving each other a chance to say like, hey, is there mutual attraction here? Is there ease in conversation? Does this feel good baseline? And then go. So I think that, you know, everything from what you articulated around the hyperselectivity, the outsized expectations, into the lack of honesty and transparency and accountability, and then the way that we're not really at all setting ourselves up. Because then let's say you do go into the bar because it's like, what about Friday with little information? If it's then you just are like, oh, I can't believe I got dressed and got out.
Well,
and
then you've maybe spent 3 weeks talking to this person. And I feel like when you're having these online conversations, you can't really feel body language or eye contact or energy, which is such an energetic thing, a connection.
Yeah.
And I think you just get low grade information. Whereas when you get in person, you get high grade information.
Amen. Yeah. It is fact that we are communicating more non-verbally with each other than we are verbally. And we are getting so much valuable information around that comes in vis-a-vis, like, does this person hold eye contact? We're even able to understand, like, through the way somebody breathes, how embodied they are and how present and how grounded parasympathetic nervous system they are. And that all signals to us at a conscious and unconscious level, ooh, yeah, I'm good here.
Yeah.
This feels good. So you're absolutely right. Like, there's so much that we need in person with each other that we're not getting through screens.
I feel like you would approve of a date I went on recently where we went to a Cubs game and then it was time for me to meditate. And I was like, you know what? It's time for me to meditate. Do you mind if I just do that really quickly? And you can sit here and you can be on your phone. You don't have to do anything special.
Yeah.
And I meditated and I told some of my friends, they were like, I cannot believe you did that. I was like, why? Because this is me.
She is, yeah.
This is who I am. Like, this is going to come up at some point. And like, I would like to see how they react to that,
I call that good information learned early.
Yeah. Yeah.
I.e., like, he's learning, like, this is how she shows up in the world. It's unapologetic. It's totally uniquely her. And it's a value, right? Like, I value this time and this space to do this thing. And I'm going to be agnostic about context. Like, it doesn't, like, it needs to happen now. It's going to happen now. And he gets to gauge, like, oh yeah, I'm into that. Or, oh, this is weird. She's just doing that, and then you get to see where he's at based on the information he's taking in, and you get to see, like, oh, I really liked how he responded there, or like, oh, kind of pulled up a whole thing. Great, good information learned early.
Yeah. He got an ear infection, actually. He had to leave immediately because his ear was about to explode.
Oh, interesting.
It did something to his body, her meditation.
I do think that when you're unstressing in that way and someone's around you that's not a meditator, sometimes it does create body sensations.
Totally.
So he ended up in the urgent care.
Wow.
He's okay. I think he already had a cold. So like, it just like maybe...
Andrea's meditation just really piled onto
Well,
it.
was it literally like, I'm just going to be present with sensation? And then he's like, actually, while we're at it,
I think that's what
I'm
happened.
in a lot of sensation right now.
I think that's what happened because we were like chatting. It was like a first date. So like we were very chatty, like very excited. And then he sat down for a moment and we were quiet. And I really dropped in and I opened my eyes and his eyes were like, he looked like his head was going to explode.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean,
she wasn't sure like if he did go to the ER, and then he sent her the picture of like the bracelet.
Because it was a little weird. I was like, maybe he just wanted to leave. He was so weirded out. He's like, I got
yeah,
out
like
of here.
his amygdala went into paralysis.
I think that's a new merch idea.
Andrea, being the queen she is, also she screenshots me the bracelet, and I look at her response, and she goes, "Your forearms are sexy." And I'm like, she's giving this guy a win still.
Yeah,
she's not making him embarrassed about the ear infection.
I'm really good at that. I'm really good at that.
Yeah, compliments are great.
Yeah,
yeah.
Your forearms are sexy at the ER.
No, that's really sweet. I'm a big fan of compliments.
Yeah, but we had a lot of chemistry. So I'm curious to know what you think about chemistry versus connection, and like because there's all these things now that's like if you have too much chemistry and too many butterflies, that's anxiety and that's your attachment system activating. And I think what we crave is connection, but what is that to you?
So it's interesting. Is the difference between chemistry and compatibility.
Okay.
So chemistry is, and to what you're speaking into, and kind of the pop psychology underneath it, there is a certain amount of trauma bonding that we are doing early on. Like we are like understanding like, well, how do your wounds and my wounds dance with each other? And that can show up in like, I'm so excited about you. And we've all been there. And that's not a bad thing at all. But then like compatibility is really what happens when trust forms over time. And you see like, do somebody's, and you were speaking to this in the episode I listened to, like the importance of like someone's words and actions matching and the integrity that demonstrates, which then tells our systems like, yeah, okay, I'm okay here. Because if somebody can't be honest with themselves and can't relay the world honestly, like there's no way you're going to be able to trust them and vice versa. So I think like the chemistry is like wonderful and like, yes, absolutely yum, good. And being able to like watch and and be enjoy around it. Like, oh my God, this feels really good. Yes. But then also I'm a really big fan, and I've disobeyed this horrendously in the past, which is why I'm an even bigger fan of it. But I'm a really big fan of slow dating. Like even if there is great chemistry, like not doing the like, are we gonna hang 5 days? And most of us don't do this, but like we all have had that, like, you wanna hang more? I wanna hang more too, and being able to really like re-regulate, go slow so that systems have time to get all of the information. Because yes, if bodies love each other is a really valuable set of information, but so is their trust. Do they have their boundaries? Are they respecting my boundaries? What are my other green flags, and are those flying? Awareness plus chemistry.
I think when you were talking about communication earlier, we've been so pulled away from having to have deep communication and honesty that I have friends, I have clients, and the moment that they have a partner being honest about how they feel early on, they're like, are they love bombing me? And I don't know how to decipher and to me, that's words and actions, right? The two of them aligning. But I also don't want to, I feel like sometimes people can be punished for being honest about how they feel too early on. But to your point, like you want to data collect as much as you can to not waste anyone's time and to see what's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to see if you can be met in the honesty. And the honesty doesn't need to feel like a ball that just got flung at somebody's face as fast as possible and hard as possible. The honesty can have humanness in it. Like, hey, I know this is like a little bit messy, a little bit human, but I'm aware that this is what's coming up for me, And I think like we do need to be with somebody who can meet us in whatever depths of honesty we're capable of pulling forward, and finding out early if another person is capable is really important. If I show up honestly, are you going to shut down? Okay. If so, like that's something I'm going to want to know and make a choice based on. So yeah, I'm a big fan of honesty early, but I also don't think it needs to be weaponized.
Yeah.
Do you have any good ideas for like early qualifying questions or things that are kind of low stakes, testing the waters? Because I feel like there's so many, and you probably know, in that you have a master's degree in spiritual psychology, you're in this arena. There's so much performative stuff, especially from men, I think, but from women too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that have all the words and all the terms.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like a feeling in my body when I hear someone say it, if I can tell if they're being real or not. But if you were just to listen to some people's words, you could think other things. So like, is there anything that you would ask, or sorry, I'm totally putting you on the spot.
No, it's great. It's great. I'm like going through the Rolodex. Because like we, as part of at the fields, we have people ask each other questions.
Okay. So what are some examples?
Some of my favorites, and the ones that are like the crowd is always like, oh, or either like, woo, are questions like, what's something you're grateful to have learned from your parents, and what's something you've had to unlearn from your parents?
That's a good one.
Another one that gives you a lot of info early is what's something you're surprised to have discovered about your sexuality in the last 6 months? Because there too, you could get a sense of like, is somebody exploring that? Does somebody have the ability to articulate that aspect of their humanness? I just like, as a baseline right in and at it, is how would you describe your relationship to relationship? Because if I know that I want to be in a monogamous, committed thing, and somebody's like, I think relationships can come in all different. I'm like, we good. Like, we are good.
We know where we're at.
Yeah. And actually, can I tell you my favorite first like hookup, not quite yet, but right before tip that like just slays every time. And I have to give credit. I went to something called ISTA last summer, and it was developed by them. But basically, it's called RBDSM, and it's designed for those moments like maybe like you're starting to make out and it hasn't like really fully like gone into like, okay, now clothes are coming off, and I like to come up for air and say like, are you down for us to do RBDSM? And usually they kind of look at you groggily like, you want to do what? But
BDSM?
They are down. They are down. And it's a device. And so the R stands for relationship status. And basically there you're checking in. Like, what is your relationship to relationship? Is there anybody else that would need to know about this? That it would be unethical for us to be doing this with? And then you might find out like, yeah, I'm in an open relationship, or it just gives you really good information. The B stands for boundaries. The D stands for desires. And the M, the S is sexual health. So S is like, it is STDs, which I think is an important check-in, but my sexual health check-in sounds like I am now 42 years old, and if I got pregnant, I would not have an abortion. So we are navigating that together, like really like putting it out there. And then the M stands for meaning, which I think is like the like Slayer pot, because because you are finding out in real time, what meaning are you going to assign to this?
Yeah.
Am I like a fun note in your cal that happened on like, or are you like, oh no, I'm very much like in this place of, if I engage sexually, then I'm really like exploring what it could mean to be taking this further, whatever. Like, and my what like does sound like essentially like, yeah, I'm not available sexually to others unless I think they could be my partner. And then the A is aftercare, which also I think is like not talked about enough in 2025, which is just like, after this, like what's our check-in look like? Or is there going to be a check-in? And that's a chance for me to say like, hey, I'd really like a text within 2 days. And it can be so simple, but I'd really like, and usually they're like, I'm going to message you sooner, like, but it's my chance to say like, I want to be communicated with.
Yeah.
And younger Allie did not do any of that. And she got herself into a boatload of trouble.
Sure.
So I just think like bringing RBDSM-A into like early date, like sexual erotic energy starting to move, put some words in there before, and you're going to be glad you did.
I love that. I love it. I love the aftercare, because I think that's a big one where people like, they get so in the bubble and they're like, oh my God, we're obsessed with each other. They're revisiting it in their mind. They're like, it's right here as they're walking around. And then a day goes by and it's like, you didn't ask for it. It feels like it's common sense, but that person doesn't know how to show up.
Yep.
And then if they don't, you know exactly that you asked for it and it was disobeyed.
Also good information.
Yeah.
Love the information.
Yep.
Speaking of information, do you want to answer some questions with us?
Yeah, I'd love to answer
We
questions.
saved some really
juicy ones
for you.
You got good ones?
This is a good one. I really don't understand this one, but we can all navigate this one together. My wife blocks me on her phone and gives me this silent treatment when she's upset. Do you think that's wrong? I find that so interesting that you would be married to someone and you would block them on your phone.
Yeah.
Like you're living in their house and you're blocking them?
Yeah. I mean, my take on that is like, y'all need couples therapy right now. Because like whatever, like there's not healthy communication happening in this dynamic.
Like, why do you feel the need to block this person?
Do you know what? My question is, what did you do?
Well, you know what? Yeah, exactly. Like and also what I get from that, because I think about when I've done stuff like that, which, a year ago, or even more recent, is like, I don't trust me. There's something it's projective material.
You know what? That's so true. I've only ever blocked one person, and it was a relationship where he kept coming back and I kept not being able to honor my boundary. And I just had to, and I do think it was healthy though. I do think it was healthy for me.
No. Do it.
Because it was the only thing that really closed it off for me. And I was able to heal without his voice in my head.
1000%.
Yeah.
1000%.
But not to my ex-husband. I never blocked him.
Yeah. And not like actively in the relationship.
No, that is like an intense form of the silent treatment.
Yeah. I think that one needs a couples therapist.
Yeah.
So she's pretty wrong.
What?
So she's pretty wrong for blocking him.
Yeah, that's not a healthy way to communicate.
No, we need to find the
when
tools.
you're actively in the relationship.
Yeah.
If you're on the side of like, okay, it's time for us to separate. This has gone in circles. We need.
Yeah.
This is not a question that we brought, but I am curious to hear what you like. We're talking about the boundaries and blocking. I think that people that pride themselves like, oh, we sleep in separate beds, it's like healthy for us. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, so as somebody that's not ever gotten so into a thing that I do, it's interesting. There's a lot of my friends are really into human design. And based on your human design, it does recommend whether you should sleep in separate bedrooms. All to say, like, you know, I think I had this idea that like once people have been together for 30, 40 years, they do. And it's like, now it's like, no, my friends who've been together like 6 months.
I'm a generator. I wonder if I'm recommended to sleep alone or not.
You could definitely look it up and find out. All to say, you know, I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum. But I don't think it necessarily I don't think the meaning we should make is, oh, something's so broken here.
Mm-hmm.
I think if this is the healthiest expression for how two people be themselves in this relationship, and you know, two people's needs are met and two nervous systems are regulated, great.
Yeah, agreed.
That popped up for me because I was like, this is just me. That wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
I think that that's such an act of intimacy that I want my partner to look forward to the way I look forward to it.
Yeah.
But when people say it and they say it with like, that's the glue that's keeping their relationship together, actually, is that personal space. While I respect it, I realize that my human design says, fuck no.
Your human design says you are not falling asleep on the couch, bitch.
No.
You are coming.
Come with me.
to bed.
Yeah.
I feel like I could be okay with that. Like I could do a little cuddle, a little whatever, and then move to the bedroom chambers.
And I imagine the couples that are doing it effectively have agreements, have conversation around like, you know, when you wake up in the morning, you come in to me.
Right.
Like I imagine like it's not like they're not having sex and there's not intimacy. It's my understanding is just like the sleep part, the REM part is happening separately.
Yeah.
Okay. This one we've touched on a lot, but online dating has become such a spectator sport. There's groups to check out stories and guys. Are they doing more harm than they are good?
Yeah. You mean, like, are we dating the same guy groups?
Things like that. Yeah. Like ways
like
that you
T
can,
app.
The way you can cross-check information, like you're looking up someone that you just started to get to know. And this goes back to the beginning of the episode when you were saying ghosting and all of that gets tied to who we know and how we know them and why people show up differently.
Yeah. I mean, for context, there was an app that was like the number one downloaded app in America for a beat called T. And it was basically women being able to share stories about who they've dated and like issue warnings on guys that they've dated. And you can imagine that this was not popular with men and it got hacked and like totally brought down. But, you know, listen, would I prefer a world where we're all developing our own inner systems of knowing better, where we are trusting that our thoughts and our emotional selves and our bodies and our inner wisdom can read, feel, see, know, gauge, and trust it? I think our minds are so powerful and we can do this doubty thing. Well, something doesn't quite feel right, but maybe I'm just being paranoid or neurotic, or maybe I don't know, maybe I need a website or an app to tell me if he's, you know, and it's like, what if you just trusted you? And what if it was okay to step away from this, you know? So I'm much more interested in us knowing ourselves and moving through the world that way versus spaces where we're talking about people without their ability to really input, defend, clarify, and especially in relational space. Relational space is fucking messy. You talk to my mom, she's nice, she's like, oh, let me tell you about her. You know, like he would want me on like some kind of site with a fucking warning label, you know? Like, so I just think that it's really risky to say that this is who we're going to be.
There's someone that I knew that got posted in one of those. And I think from knowing him, he's a really good guy. And I don't think he means poor. Like, I don't think he loves his family, he loves his nieces and nephews, great with kids. But I think that he carries a lot of relationship trauma. And as much as he goes against the grain of wanting to eventually be there, he's a 38-year-old man. And I remember one time, like, we were alone and he wasn't around the bros and the guys. And I was like, do you want to get married? Like, is that something you want? And he's like, isn't that something we all want? And I remember I think this is my personal take. I think he deliberately like kind of fucked up his last relationship because it got so real. But when he got posted in that group, I was like, I don't know that that's fair to him. I don't know that he's like hurt someone, but he hasn't been available.
Yeah.
But he carries he's been cheated on a lot. I told him, I was like, dude, you attract a crazy bitch and you love her, don't you?
Yeah.
He's like, I sure do love him crazy.
Yeah. 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 And that's, you know, that's his own work to unwind. You know, it is we all have saboteurs in us. There's a part of us that's, you know, determined to self-sabotage. And that is that in action. And then, it creates consequences, right? And a consequence is if you're with volatile people, if you're in volatile things, then there's volatile consequences. But I agree with you that like so much of our humanness happens in the textured, subtle spaces. And I don't think technology writ large has an ability to convey that effectively. Because you're right, like this person he has so many facets to him, and to be reduced down to like dude's fuckboy is like not fair.
It's not fair. And I was like, I don't want to defend him, but also like I can hear how he is in relationships, and I don't think that's who he wants to be either. But he hasn't found that person that he can be enmeshed with and be honest. But now he's being ripped to shreds.
And maybe
on a dating app.
And maybe there's something kind of like catalyzing about that too. You know, like maybe he makes changes because of that. Maybe he doesn't. You know, I think that it's not to say like this is good or this is bad. All of it has repercussions and consequences. But if I were to decide for myself, my sister, my best friends, if I want, and my ex and my brother, if I wanted us all hanging out in those spaces, I would say no.
Why are you looking at me?
Checking in to see.
I totally agree. I think it's more, I know immediately, right? Like I know. And sometimes I want to confirm what I know, but I don't really need to do the research. I can just know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the lesson.
Yeah.
But when you get on there and a guy's got 75 comments, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Totally.
It's almost like you don't even need to read the comments.
Totally.
You can just see that there's a lot of talk, and like this guy just has work to do and he's not available.
Totally. And I think there's really something so beautiful about like standing in one's power and saying, I know, and I know the decisions I'm going to make for me, and having some external information tell us. Like I had a thing with somebody where the situation was it felt so confusing.
Yes.
And in the confusion was my no.
Yeah.
And I was out, but then I did have the chance to have this really beautiful, thoughtful conversation with one of his exes who was in my group of friends, and hearing her relay the exact same thing I had gone through.
Exactly.
The exact same behaviors, the exact same words. There was something so liberating, and it was like I could let go even more.
1,000%.
Yes.
I had an incident where by design, the universe put me at dinner with someone who knew my partner's ex-wife, and she connected us, and it was the same situation.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
That whole like script of like, maybe he'll change, maybe it'll be different, maybe it's just like, I could just let that go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wouldn't have had that meetup if you hadn't already gotten to a place of like, I know.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And I think if we treat that external stimuli as like icing on the cake,
right,
versus I'm going to bake this whole cake based on what Deirdre said, it's like, that's not okay.
Totally. Yeah.
But like to be like, oh, like Deirdre was like the cherry on the sundae of this entire, like then I think there's something really beautiful, and there's something really beautiful in women coming together and being able to
sure.
be for each other on that stuff.
Yeah, she was very much like, I hadn't faced a lot of this, and like you really helped me by contacting me, like realize that I still had a lot of work to do around that relationship.
Yeah,
So,
my favorite quote on that is, we're all just walking each other home.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's beautiful.
That is so nice.
Yeah. I hope you can come back.
I love you in Lake Bluff.
Please come back.
I mean, like, Bluff.
She's like, now in Brooklyn, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I hope you can come back.
We have one more. A guy I've been on 10 dates with has really created a lot of intimacy via text, telling me he's really feeling a connection. And I find out recently that he's still exploring other connections, and lied about going on a date and said she was meeting his mom. Who's wrong?
Wait. So she said he's invited her to meet his mom?
They went to dinner.
Okay.
He thought this woman's under the impression that they were on a date, and found out later that like when he said he went to go see his mom,
He was on a date.
he was on a date.
Oh, okay. Okay, there's a lot in there. One, first, like the trusting what's coming in, like via the safety of a device, I don't think is advisable. Like if someone can't like look you in the eye and tell you how they feel, and you're like relying on information to come through the device, like that's not the highest fidelity information. 1, 2, I do think men take longer to decide, navigate, understand. And it's not because like they be playing, like I just don't think, I think that we haven't given men the language and the space to understand their emotional landscape, to tune into their body, to tap into their inner wisdom. Like we've just put them so in their heads, and it made this one band of emotion, okay, rage, anger, but like sadness, fear, uncertainty, like not okay. And so I think a lot of what happens with men is that they're very much like, I don't know. So I need more time. I need more time to gather information. I need more time, because again, they're so in their heads. They're so in ration, reason, logic. So I think like giving them the grace of time, totally okay. If he needs time, and sometimes, that does come in because they might not have the most developed systems of knowing. It might need to come in through, okay, this is how I feel with her, but this is how I feel with her. Oh, okay. Like I'm okay with that as long as there's a lot of honesty. So I'm not okay with the lack of honesty in that situation.
This kind of ties into the RBDSMA.
Yeah.
We would have all known.
Yeah.
We would have just done that.
Yeah. In sexual health, he would have had to be like, well, I have other partners. And she would have been like, okay, that's good information for me.
Yeah.
We're just information gathering.
I love
you were
it.
so amazing.
Yes,
Thanks so much for hanging with us.
Thanks for having
Do we
me.
have any upcoming Feels events?
Yeah.
that we can-
Chicago 11/24.
Okay, so
Amazing.
exciting. Amazing. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.